Andrew Carnegie. Every obstacle is a step toward your first million. Are you over 40 and feeling like time is slipping away? The bills keep piling up, the debts feel like an insurmountable mountain, and the dream of financial stability seems further and further out of reach? If you answered yes, stop everything you're doing and listen closely. What I'm about to share could be the turning point you've been waiting for. You see, Andrew Carnegie was 48 years old when he finally achieved his financial breakthrough. That's right, 48 years old. Before that, he was just another poor Scottish immigrant struggling to survive in America, working 12-hour shifts in grimy factories for mere pennies. But here's the part most people don't know, and it's this very detail that made all the difference. Carnegie discovered that every obstacle, every debt, every sleepless night worrying about money wasn't the end of the road, it was just the beginning. And the most incredible part? The 5 principles he used to rise from absolute poverty to become the richest man in the world still work today, especially for those over 40 who think it's too late to turn things around. So if you were tired of living paycheck to paycheck, afraid to open your bank statements, and putting off your dreams because there's no money, the next few minutes could completely change your financial future. Carnegie's reverse savings principle. Carnegie's first lesson is so simple that most people overlook it, and that's why they stay in debt. At just 20 years old, earning only $2 a week, the equivalent of less than $10 today, Carnegie did something everyone thought was crazy. He started paying himself first. Now, I'm not talking about saving whatever's left at the end of the month, because let's face it, when you're in debt, there's never anything left. Carnegie created what I call the reverse savings principle. The moment he got paid, before paying any bills, he set aside 10 cents. Just 10 cents out of every $2. But how can I save if I can barely pay my bills, you might be thinking. And that's exactly the point. Carnegie discovered that when you pay yourself first, something magical happens. Your brain finds creative ways to make the rest of the money stretch. It's like activating a survival intelligence you didn't know you had. Today, even if you're over 40, you can start with as little as $10 a week. It might seem small, but in a year, that's $520. In 5 years, with compound interest, it could grow to over $3,000. But the real value isn't the amount, it's the mindset of prosperity you're building. The power of strategic no. Carnegie's second lesson is tough but essential. He learned to say no. At 35, still struggling financially, a friend invited Carnegie to invest in a bar. It seemed like a good opportunity, extra income, his own business, but Carnegie said no. Why? Because he had a golden rule: never invest in something you don't fully understand. Think about how many people over 40 lose their savings to can't-miss opportunities, pyramid schemes, miracle investments, businesses promising easy money. Carnegie's advice is clear. Say no to anything that promises quick riches. Say no to store credit cards. Say no to high-interest loans. Say no to the 24-month installment plan for something you don't really need. Here's the trick. Every time you say no to unnecessary expenses, you're saying yes to your financial freedom. It's simple math. Every dollar you don't spend on interest is a dollar that works for you. The power of lifelong learning. Now here's one of the most surprising discoveries about Carnegie. At 45 years old, when most people think they're too old to learn, he spent his last savings on books. That's right. While he was behind on rent and barely had enough to eat, Carnegie bought books on accounting, investments, and business. His family thought he'd lost his mind. "How can you spend money on books when we can't pay rent?" his mother yelled. But Carnegie understood something fundamental. An investment in knowledge pays the best dividends. And I'm not talking about going back to college at 50, though that's a great option too. I'm talking about spending just 15 minutes a day learning about finances. Today, with YouTube, podcasts, and audiobooks, you have free access to the knowledge Carnegie paid dearly for. The question is, are you using it? Here's a challenge. For the next 30 days, replace 15 minutes of scrolling social media or watching the news with financial education content. In 1 month, you'll have 7.5 hours of new knowledge. In a year, that's 90 hours, the equivalent of an MBA in personal finance. Turning experience into financial value. At 48, Carnegie made the move that changed everything. And it wasn't luck, it was pure strategy. Working as a telegrapher operator, a job as common as being a customer service rep today, Carnegie noticed something no one else did. The messages he transmitted contained valuable information about businesses and investments. So instead of just doing his job, he started studying the content of those messages. He learned about stocks, companies, and opportunities. So when the chance came to invest $500, all his savings, in an oil company, he knew exactly what he was doing. The result? Within a year, that $500 turned into $40,000. But the secret wasn't luck, it was preparation. Here's the thing, if you're over 40, you have something younger people don't: life experience. You know how to spot scams, you've built relationships, and you understand people. Carnegie teaches us to turn that experience into financial value. Maybe you're great at organizing. Why not offer organization services? Maybe you're a fantastic cook. Have you thought about selling homemade meals? Or perhaps you're patient and love teaching. Online tutoring is in high demand. Here is the secret of multiplication. Here's something few people know about Carnegie, and it might be the key to your financial breakthrough. At 52, already with some money saved, Carnegie could have relaxed. But he discovered what I call the silent multiplication principle. Instead of letting his money sit idle, he reinvested everything into assets that generated more money. But here's the crucial detail. He only invested in things he fully understood. Railroads? He studied them for 2 years before investing a penny. Steel? He spent months visiting factories before committing. Today, you don't need to study railroads, but you do need to understand where your money is going. A savings account earning 0.5% a month while inflation eats away 1%? You're losing money. Certificates of deposit, government bonds, mutual funds. There are safe options that earn 3, 4, or 5 times more than a savings account. It's never too late. Let me leave you with one final thought about Carnegie that might change your perspective. When he died at 83, Carnegie had donated 90% of his fortune. But the most remarkable thing isn't how much he gave, it's what he said. The man who dies rich dies disgraced. Carnegie understood that money isn't the ultimate goal. It's simply a tool to live with dignity, achieve your dreams, and help others. And that's exactly what you deserve after all these years of hard work. It doesn't matter if you're 40, 50, 60, or even 70. It doesn't matter if you owe $5,000 or $50,000. What matters is that today you've decided to change your financial story. Remember the 5 lessons. Pay yourself first, even if it's just $10 a week.
Say no to unnecessary expenses and yes to freedom. Invest 15 minutes a day in financial education. Turn your life experience into financial value. Track every dollar and multiply it through smart investments. Carnegie started from nothing at 48. You can start today, right now, this very moment.